On the 6th of June 1980, 56-year-old coal miner Zigmund Adamski left his home in Tingley, West Yorkshire to do some shopping. However, he never returned. On the 9th of June, his body was found on a 10-foot high pile of coal in the town of Todmorden, 20 miles away from his house. Sent to investigate, local policeman Alan Godfrey discovered that Adamski was wearing a suit and his shirt was missing. Adamski's hair had been cropped in what PC Godfrey described as a roughly cut manner, and he only had 1 day's growth on his beard, despite being missing for several days. The young policeman also reported that Adamski had mysterious burns on his neck, head and shoulders. The coroner, James Turnbull, confirmed that some of the burns had been treated with a strange ointment that could not be identified by forensic scientists. Godfrey later said that Adamski looked like he'd been frightened to death. Speaking to reporters, PC Godfrey said that there was a possibility that Adamski had been abducted by aliens. He said, "I am open-minded. I can't rule it out." The true cause of Adamski's death remains a mystery to this day. There were several theories about Adamski's death, one of which was that Adamski had been killed by the KGB. Another suggested he had been struck by ball lightning, which caused him to wander off, confused, and eventually die at the top of a coal heap. To many people, however, there was only one explanation. Adamski encountered something from a different planet. What makes this case more interesting is that on the night before Adamski's disappearance, many local residents saw a large, unidentifiable craft flying over the area. 5 months after the grisly discovery of Adamski's body, Todmorden once again found itself at the centre of media attention. This time, it was none other than PC Godfrey who was in the eye of the storm. Sent out at 5 in the morning to deal with a call about escaped cattle on a housing estate, Godfrey, according to his own account, stopped dead in his tracks by what he claimed was an unidentified flying object. Godfrey said the object was a bright light in the sky, rotating, diamond-shaped vessel 20 feet high and 14 feet wide. Godfrey made a quick sketch of the object in his notebook and then grabbed his police radio to call in the incident. The line was dead. Suddenly, it disappeared in a bright flash, and Godfrey found himself sitting in his car 30 yards further down the road. Looking at his watch, he was surprised to see it was 25 minutes later than it had just been moments before. Weirder still, his boot was split open, and a strange mark had appeared on one of his feet. Baffled, Godfrey returned to where he had seen the light and discovered the road where his car had been was completely dry, despite the fact it had recently been raining.
What did you see?
Well, I was driving the Panda car along Burnley Road in Todmorden, and I came across this strange craft blocking the road.
Describe it to me.
Well, it was about 20 feet high, about 14 feet wide. It was a diamond-shaped object, hovering about 5 feet off the ground.
Getting out to investigate the area, he found the cows he'd been looking for in the park next to the road. They had not been there before he saw the strange object in the sky. When he finally managed to report his strange encounter, Godfrey was met with skepticism and even ridicule. On the advice of his solicitor and a friend, he decided to see a hypnotist to get to the bottom of what he'd witnessed. Under hypnosis, Godfrey recalled that he had been blinded by the light and passed out. He told the hypnotist that when he woke, he was in a strange room being examined by several little creatures. Several weeks after Godfrey's account had leaked to the newspapers and become an international news story, he was called into his inspector's office. There was a man in a dark suit and a tie, who introduced himself as the man from the ministry. He had a file with him containing Godfrey's drawing of the strange craft. Godfrey wasn't allowed to see the rest of the file, but assumed it also contained his account of the evening's events, plus his report of the mysterious death of Zigmund Adamski. The man told Godfrey he was to swear on the Official Secrets Act that he would not talk to anyone about what he had seen. Godfrey reluctantly agreed. The young policeman then encountered the man on several occasions over the next few days. It was clear he was being followed. Eventually, Godfrey confronted the man in his local pub, telling him to clear off. The man disappeared and was never seen again. Who was this mysterious man? Was he from the MI5? A mysterious Men in Black agent? That's what Godfrey believes. Despite that it later transpiring that several other police officers and a bus driver had seen strange lights on the same morning, Godfrey's claims were seen as an embarrassment to the force. He was eventually transferred to Wakefield, and an attempt was even made to section him. Godfrey later claimed that he was hounded out of the police force for refusing to give up on his story. He also talked about the negative impact the incident had had on his family. I wish I'd never seen the UFO, particularly because of the effects on my children. It's not easy having a policeman as a father, but when he's a policeman who saw a UFO, it's even worse. Since the two incidents of 1980, Todmorden and other areas of West Yorkshire have become UFO hotspots. Mysterious objects have been reported for 40 years across the Pennines in the skies above Holmfirth, Rothwell, and in 2016 over the world-famous Ribblehead Viaduct, where the strange lights could be seen hovering in the sky for several hours. So, is there an explanation for what happened to Zigmund Adamski and PC Godfrey, or indeed for the numerous incidents that have happened in the 4 decades since? Despite many people attempting to get to the bottom of this intriguing mystery, no one has ever managed to come up with a definitive answer. In this case, Adamski, the state of his clothes, his cropped hair, one day of beard growth, and the strange burns still baffle people to this day. As for Godfrey's account, we have just his word to go on. But if he's simply making it up, it's been to his own personal detriment, as he lost both his job and a lot of credibility, becoming a figure of ridicule to many. He also lost his family and his home and slid into alcoholism. Despite all this, he still swears that something out of the ordinary happened to him that night. Plus, there's the small matter that he wasn't the only one who reported strange goings-on that morning. Anyway, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed today's case, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you.